It's alive.
It's alive. I'm alive.
I'm so pleased. All right, let's invite these beautiful children to come hang out with us. I feel like you should have like introductory music.
I don't.
It's okay, we'll play you some next time.
Thanks.
You can just do some like fabulous lip syncing. Hey, someone's watching. We're probably Karen. Maybe it's Chris.
Hello.
Hey, someone's watching. We're probably Karen. Maybe it's Chris.
It was echoing. Hi, can you text?
That's my fault because I had it on.
You put your name in if you're watching right now? Type your name in. We're going to wait 2 more minutes and we'll get started.
Olivia's not going to kick everybody off this time.
All right. Well, we can start and give it another minute or so, and then we'll start and see if people join us.
You're on.
Hi, guys. I see that you're logging on. And you look down below where the chat area is and type in your name so we can see who's watching today. And we're going to get started in just a moment. Next time we'll have some music.
Dun, 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 dun. I got you.
Thanks. Thanks, Miss Olivia. Hello. So we'll go ahead and get started, and hopefully other people will join us. Hi, it's Ms. Melissa. Welcome to our second YouTube live session. I think you're going to enjoy this one. We are going to, hi, Chris. We are going to make something a little later. I'm going to start it and you can make it at home too. I'm going to give you some directions on something that you can make. That may have been something that you've done previously, and I think you'll like it. So the very first thing that I want to talk about is distance learning this week. I know it didn't work out the way we thought it was going to, but we're going to start again next week and make sure that it works out okay next week. The teachers and administrators are all checking to make sure that everything's going to work well next week and you'll be able to do your distance learning again. One other thing that we're going to do before we get started is I want you to take your hands and hug them around your shoulders and close your eyes and imagine what you see is a big hug from all of your after-school teachers and volunteer teachers, because we love you, we miss you, and we just want to give you a big hug So this is a nice virtual hug to you because we do miss you. I just wanted to take a moment to say that. So let's get started. Well, as you know, thousands of years ago, before we had paper, people would communicate with carvings in stone or bone or wood, and that was the way they got messages to each other. One country that had a lot of carvings was China. And if you look at our map, the blue is us, North America, United States of America, and in the red, that's China. Then several thousand years ago, they realized a way of turning those carvings into multiple copies on paper. So the paper back then wasn't the same as the paper we have now. It's kind of a pulp. And what they would do is that they would take a carving. I'm using Play-Doh for my carving. Here's another sample of a carving. And they would use damp paper and they would push it around all of the areas on the carving. And then what they would do is they would use ink that they made and put it on paper. Oh, hold on, I have to take that back. They would put the paper around the carvings, but the paper would be wet. They'd wait till it dried, and then once it dried, they'd have ink on paper, and they would take the paper that they had placed around the carving, and they would use the ink, and they would dab it so that the part that was raised, like the letter M here, or the design that was here, would show on their papers. And that's how they made copies of papers, because they didn't have copiers at the time. So that's called the art of rubbing. And today what we're going to do is we are going to do crayon rubbings. So for crayon rubbings, you need your box of crayons. You need some paper. You can also use markers and pens for details. But the first thing you're going to do, then this is the first thing I did, is you're going to look around your house. You can also look outside. And you're looking at the different textures or look and feel of items. And I found some items that I thought would be good for my crayon rubbing. This is a strainer, but I like the fact that it has the holes in it. So I thought this would be great. I found a snowman, but I think maybe if I turn it a little bit, you can kind of see it. But it's raised. The nose and the eyes are raised up a bit. So I thought, that's a good thing. I found this little ring because I thought I could use this for circles. And this ring, you could use either side. And the outline of the raised part, see how this is raised on this side? This is raised on that side to make a circle. I thought, what other shapes could I use? What other items could I use for different shapes? Thought this could be used for a square. So it's just a bowl. And I found this great bowl that a friend had given to me as a gift, actually a family member had given me as a gift from Africa. And it has a lot of texture. I thought this may be a great thing to use for my picture. Does anybody know what this is? It's called a juicer. You can use lemon juice. If you need lemon juice or lime juice, you cut the lime and the lemon in half, you put it on top, and you twist it, you put it on top of the glass, and you twist it on top. The juice comes through the holes, and the seeds get caught in the top. But I like the way that they had the circles was raised and these lines. So I thought this may be a good thing to try. One other thing I thought I would try, cookie cutter. I found a heart-shaped cookie cutter. I thought, really had to think outside of the box. I thought, comb, maybe this would help. And some things are not raised. Some things have cutouts, like this spoon has a cutout. And I thought, let me try the spoon. Maybe it would work. Oh, another thing, I had a vase that had a lot of texture. Thought, maybe I'll try this vase. Then I found another one that had a lot of texture on it. And it also had some letters. So I looked at all these great things that I had and I thought, what can I do with them? What kind of picture can I make with them? So this is what I decided to do. I decided my favorite item was this vase because the letters on here say made with love. And then I just love the diamond pattern on it. So I thought I'm going to use this vase for part of my picture. And then I looked around and I thought, well, maybe I'll put a sun in my picture. So I'm going to use the circle here, or maybe I'll use it for the center of my flower. Maybe I'll put flowers on the vase. So the first thing I did was I thought about what I wanted to use, but I wanted to practice with the items that I found to make sure that I could get a great design with those items. So this is kind of a messy piece of paper on both sides, but I took the different items that I found. One other thing I found, 50-cent piece. And I put the paper on top of the item. And then I took one of my crayons and I gently rubbed the side of the crayon over the item. So the paper was on top, flat like this. My 50-cent piece was underneath it. And I colored with the side of the crayon, and that's what happened. This one here is from using this item. Some things worked better than others. I also took the paper, put it on the side of the wall to see how that would work if I put the paper up and did a rubbing on the wall. The one thing you have to remember when you're doing these rubbings, first make sure the items that you're using, that you have permission from your family to use them, and also make sure you don't go over the edge of the paper because you don't want to put marks on the items that you're using to do your rubbings. So I tested out all the different ones with my paper. I think I can show you right here. So this was one of the ones I said I really liked. So I put the paper on it, and I took my crayon, and I rubbed on the side of the crayon and saw the design that came through. And as you can see on the glass, the shapes were raised, and it showed up on the paper. Some other items, like the spoon, had a cutout. So it's really smooth, but it had a cutout design. So I thought, let me try a cutout design and see what happens. I'm going to put this flat. So here we go. I took it and I colored it in. I'm going to show you what happened because I just had to make it flat. So the design and the cutout on the spoon here appeared on my paper. So I took all of these items, I practiced, I thought about it, I drafted a copy of what I thought that I wanted on here. Once I did that and I knew what my design was, because remember, we have been practicing with sketching things out first, creating a draft, thinking about what you need, what you want to create. Once we did that, I got started working. The first thing I did, as I said, is I really liked this design. So I put my paper on top and I took my colored crayon. I decided the color I wanted and I took the paper and I took the crayon and I colored on top and used part of this because I decided I wanted to do a vase with flowers. Then I thought, okay, so that's my vase. Then I decided to think, well, what do I want to do to create the flowers? So what I did was I remembered I liked the center of the flowers to look kind of unique. So I thought I needed to make a perfect circle instead of having to draw it, one that was already created. So I put my paper back on here And I used a crayon just to get the outline of the circle. So it wasn't the whole center. It was an outline from the raised edge. After that, I started finishing up with details on my picture. So this, as I said before, made with love, is from this vase. The center of my flower, as you can see, is from actually, I think a friend gave me this little dish I used to keep rings in and earrings in. That made the center of my flower. This part, it may be hard to see, but there is some texture that I created by coloring the center in yellow first, and then going back with an orange crayon with this underneath to create some texture in the middle, the center of my flower. Then I made the leaves, and you could also use leaves outside. Do the same thing, put your paper on top, color over top of the leaf to make the leaves. Then I made the petals, and I thought, the petals need a little bit more to them too. So I colored my petals in pink, but then if you can see the purple, I created that by putting it on the wall and rubbing the crayon on the wall to create some texture. So what I'd like you to do, because I know we gave you paper and we gave you crayons, I would love for you to look around the house, look for items that you can use. Look for things that have a lot of texture like this basket here. Look for things in the kitchen. Maybe there's some kitchen items. Look for things that you can use, as I said, like the comb, and see if you can create something that you can share with us. I would love for you to create a picture like I did, and then you can go back, like I went back, and add some detail to it, and take a picture of the picture that you created for us using the crayon rubbing method so that we can see the pictures and we can see what you worked on, because we'd love to see your art. That's one thing we do miss, is working with you and creating art projects and posting your art projects. So I would love to be able to do that. And this is a way that you can do that at home. Everyone has household items that they could use to turn into something beautiful. Think outside the box like you've done in the past. You all are great artists. You all have wonderful minds, and you can take simple items like I did and turn them into masterpieces. And we really would like to see those. The only other thing I wanted to talk to you about is that we are here making videos for you because we want to be connected to you. We'd love for you to watch the read aloud videos. We'd love for you to be able to come to these sessions too when we're doing our YouTube live, because that's a way for you to communicate with us. If you type into the chat windows, then I can see what you say, and so can Miss Olivia. We love to hear from you, and we are here, as we've said every week. We are not going anywhere. We are here for you. We are here to talk about things that are important to you. Also, every Friday for the YouTube live sessions, we will do things that are related to STEAM, like we did before, where we have science and technology, engineering, art, like today, and math. So I hope you can join us for that. I think that's about it for today's project that we're doing. If you have a question about what we made, you can text in the chat box, or you can text on Remind app. I have Miss Olivia right now FaceTiming me while we're talking. Miss Olivia, did you have anything you wanted to share?
Ms.Melissa, would you mind talking about the reading groups a little bit? Because they're going to get exciting surprises tomorrow in their backpacks.
Yes. So tomorrow, don't forget, we have scheduled with your families to come pick up backpacks, and inside those backpacks, we are going to provide the books that you're going to use for your reading groups. Miss Karen has reading groups, Miss Olivia has reading groups, and I have reading groups. We are going to tell you the times that your reading groups will meet each week. What you're going to do is you're going to be reading a chapter or two. It depends on your teacher and the book, but you're going to read a chapter or two of the book prior to us meeting. We're not going to have you read ahead. We want you to read. We're going to read at the same time. So even if it's a book that you're really excited about and you really want to finish, we really would prefer for you, just like you've done guided reading at school, that you read the chapters that we've assigned for you to read so that we can talk about them as a group and make connections to the stories, give our opinion about the stories, talk about the characters, how they relate to you, how they relate to each other, or maybe how they relate to something that you've read before or seen on TV, or the way the world is right now. I think you're going to enjoy the books that we have. And as we said, these are your books. You don't have to return them. They're not library books. The books that we're providing for you are your books. But we just want to make sure that you read them as assigned. So you're going to get multiple books. You just keep them in a safe place. So when we ask you to read a certain book, you know where that book is. And we're really excited about it. We're excited that we're going to be able to see you. You're going to be able to see us. We're going to be able to chat with you. I think we're going to have a great time doing that. Miss Olivia, did you have another question?
Nope.
Okay.
You aced it, Ms. Melissa.
Thanks. So anyway, as I said before, you're gonna make your own piece of art. I want you to take a picture of it if you can, and you can send it through Remind so that we can see the pictures that you made. And hopefully at some point we'll be able to keep copies of them so that we can show them when we get back together, or hopefully there's some other way we can post them so you can see them. But we want you to keep being the great artist that you are. And I know that this is something that can be done at home and can be fun. And I just want to see where you take this, what you do. I mean, with my picture, I didn't finish with the background. You know, there's other things I could have used for it. Maybe I could have used this for the background. I'd like to see what you do and how you think about creating these photos. So thanks again for joining us today. And we will be back again next week doing some more STEAM. Who knows? We may have engineering next week, maybe math, science. You have to follow along and see what happens. I'm going to turn the phone that Miss Olivia's on so she can say goodbye to you too. But thank you so much for joining us. So hold on just a second.
Hi, guys. I have a shout out before we go, which is to Miss Kimberly, who is our piece of the week because she has sent in some fantastic drawings that she did. I'm so excited. Miss Melissa had a great project for you to see what you guys create in your houses. So send them all to me. And I love you very, very much. And I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. See you next time.